The best history teachers I had in middle school and high school never focused on making me memorize old dates and names. They always started with current events. They'd speak of today's headlines and the hot topics of now. I didn't really understand why back then, but I did enjoy debating my classmates about the controversial stuff that the adults around us seemed to be obsessed with. It was far easier to try to make sense of the politics and characters and borders of today than it was to try to understand some ancient megalomaniacal dictator who started a war with some country that doesn't even exist anymore, and all to soothe his own ego. Come to find out, yesterday was today, and today will be tomorrow. My history teachers understood that the characters and settings might change, but much of history shares the same predictable plot, riddled with self-absorption, power grabs, and abstract others blindly oppressing abstract others. So when the hot news topics of today are being shouted about, debated, and frothed over, I can't help but think back to my schooling and wonder, is this just a repeat of an old plot? Is there some ancient repeating truth we should all be learning that lies just beneath the surface of the most recent headlines? In Matthew's gospel, there's a little section where Jesus is trying to teach his disciples a similar lesson. He's predicting the destruction of the temple and the forthcoming headlines that will feel apocalyptic. He drops a line of rage bait by saying, "Heaven and earth will pass away." And his disciples are appropriately shocked. Then he tries to shake them from their temporal trance. He tries to get them to see that the plot of human history includes painfully predictable tropes. We will continue to let our lesser angels named ego and power and control destroy temples, cities, heaven and earth. But there is a transformational way to live that transcends this ongoing story. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. That's what he taught. This moment shared will never pass. He was teaching that this love that you feel between us, between he and the disciples, transcends time, the connection to the eternal, to the divine that flows through that encounter. It's always available. There is an ancient and enduring truth that will not crumble. There is an old and lasting wisdom that carries us forward despite the headlines. There is something deeper than the predictably putrid news cycle that compels us toward each other despite all the destruction and chaos and pain. It is between us. It is these words right now. It is found in this exchange, in this encounter. I believe Jesus is speaking here not only to us, but through us. When we settle down, when we calm our racing pulses, and when we slow our shaking gaze, when we see each other, when we are rooted fully in a moment of togetherness, we might glimpse truths that are eternal. We know these truths in our bones. We hold this wisdom in deep wells of our marrow. God's forever lessons are implanted permanently in our DNA. We are made of this stuff. You just have to quiet down and look for it. You just have to gently listen and hear the echoes of God's oldest song being sung on the breath of the next person you encounter. Listen closely enough and you'll hear eternal teachings of justice. You'll hear proof of the dignity we all deserve. You'll hear cries deserving mercy and salvation. You'll hear your own worth and belovedness reverberating back to you. You'll hear God. My history teachers were required to teach the dates and names, but the best of them were trying to tune me into something sacred. They knew that the raging fires of the day's news broadcasts were just a continuation of history's ongoing conflagration. But living waters always prevail. Quenching, love-filled wisdom always rains down. And if we can see below the headlines, we can transcend the repeating plot. Here's a blessing for your week. O God of wisdom, sing your uncrumbling song. Help us hear the resonant gong of truth vibrating beneath the clamber of the world's noise. Send us that wisdom in the way you've always sent it, through shared moments of togetherness. Amen. Between is about you. Take this message into your life this week and fill the space between you and every person you encounter with God's sacred light and your sacred light. My favorite church is the space between people. Now go. With God's love, create the church between.